Hi everyone, welcome to this Google Digital Garage training session, particularly on Get Started with Analytics. My name is Benedict. I'm a trainer for Google's free skills training program, Google Digital Garage. Just a bit about myself. I'm an experienced coding specialist and digital skills trainer, as well as having a background in the digital creative industry and worked in the sector for over 20 years. I would also like to introduce our amazing moderator, Annie. Annie is also a Google Digital Garage coach and will be interacting with you and answering just about all of your questions via the instant chat to the right there. You can identify the moderator by her name, Annie, as well as a little blue spanner next to her name. Now, just before we start, I just want to call out a few things to help you today. Firstly, if you're having any trouble viewing the webinar at any point, please do try refreshing your page. If you would like to join the instant chat today, you do need a YouTube account, which you can very easily set up by clicking on the box on the right there. And it'd be great. This whole thing is here for interaction. Now, we'll be pausing throughout the session, and Annie, hopefully, will kindly pass some of the questions across to me to answer. So, do fire away with your questions throughout. Just to let you know as well, we are running this Google Digital Garage virtual training as part of a broad offering of courses. If you would like to check out our schedule of upcoming webinars, trainings, please see the information on this in the description below, which links you through to our website. So that is the housekeeping done. Let us get started on answering questions with data. Now, one thing I want to point out though as well is if you can sign on and tell us, what I mean is on YouTube, if you can tell us where you're signing on from, that's what I meant to say, that'll be fabulous because I love to see where you're signing on from. Hello, Kasun. I can see your different things here. Welcome, Kasun. So do tell us particularly, where you're signing on from. That'll be really nice. I'll keep an eye on that. I'll come back to it a couple of times whilst we're going through it. Okay, so today there's three particular areas we're going to be covering. So understanding the really important questions to ask about your online activity, we're going to cover that. Then understanding how we can actually make sense of online data to address these questions. Now, as you know, there's data analysts who are specialized in these particular areas. So it's particularly getting to know how to interpret this information. Then also the third thing is understand how to use analytics data to understand what it tells us about our business. The big thing is interpretation. So some of the right questions are, what are you trying to achieve, particularly today? Think about this before we get started. What questions do you need to answer to help you achieve your goal? By all means, share it with us as well. And which reports can help you find the answers that you need? And what are your next steps as a result? So those are some of the different questions, for you to particularly answer today. I just want to welcome here as well, Ellis from Accra, Ghana. Excellent. Welcome here. And then Kasun from Dhaka, Bangladesh. Welcome. So wonderful to have you here. Anyone else, please do fire away and tell us where you're actually signing on from. It's really nice to have you from different parts of the world. Now, the next thing I must admit, which is a great opportunity, but I'm afraid at the moment it's only within the UK. But if you know anyone within the UK, obviously notify them about this just to help and everything. But there is, if you are free one-to-one mentoring available from Google, if you're part of a small business or charity in the United Kingdom, sign up for Google Mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring. And thank you very much, Annie. Annie's going to provide you there with the link. Okay, welcome, Hannah. Welcome from England. That's excellent. And Pratikshia, I think how you pronounce, working on this one. Welcome from India. Sorry, we do try our best at some of your fascinating names, but I'm afraid we're not that great at pronouncing all of them. But that's a great opportunity. So that's one-to-one mentoring. And don't miss out the opportunity. No matter what stage your business might be at, what stage of the funnel and all the rest, we can assist you. And you have one-to-one with one of us, which is a great opportunity. Okay, so let us get started asking the right questions. Now, in this next section, we are going to look at the most important questions you should be asking and answering using data about your business, and in particular about how it is actually doing online. All right, so we're just going to start with that first. So we're going to introduce, we often use structures and everything to help you make decisions and decide what's best and all that kind of thing. So it helps you work on the different points. And we're going to be using an overarching 4-step framework at getting answers from data here, particularly. So what is my objective? What questions do I need to address? Where do I get that information from? And what do I do with that information? It's kind of really, frameworks always for thinking about the types of goals or objectives. Whenever you've got a structure, a framework, it helps you think through it in a structured way. Okay, so let's go through the first one. What is my objective? First, of course, we need to decide what the objectives are. So, some of the different objectives could be tell more people about my business, therefore increasing your people's brand awareness about you and everything, sell more of your particular product or service, so that could be down as particularly sales, identify my most valuable customers, because of course, a lot of the feedback, you can be finding out who is looking at your website, how they are finding your website. And obviously a little bit with social media, you can obviously get a lot of information from that as well. And then, of course, we cover defining your online objectives, particularly in our digital marketing strategy session, can help you with these different sides. There's another one we have as well, social media marketing particularly as well, if you're wanting to particularly use that side as well. And then find new ways to engage with previous customers, particularly. All right. What question do I need to address? Okay, to get the right data, you've got to frame the questions correctly. So let's look at the funnel here. So the types of questions to ask about your business. Okay, now we have here the framework, another form of framework, the REAN framework: reach, engage, activate, nurture. So with this structure, to follow, particularly in Google Analytics, and we're going to refer this to Google Analytics, and when using other online marketing tools to find the answers, okay? Now, this framework makes us think about the stages of a company's relationship or engagement with a customer. So, you'll reach customers or bring them to your website through various methods, such as paid search, organic search, social media, and offline promotional activity. Sometimes when people ask us about SEO, it sounds like we're avoiding the topic, but the point is there's so many different things that come into play with search engine optimization that you've got to make sure that your footprint is as wide as possible on different places on the internet, so people can find you in different places and assess you and decide whether they resonate with you and that kind of side. And then, of course, there is engage. When they actually got onto the website, what pages do they go to? How long do they spend there? What page do they leave you on? Do they spend a long time, particularly on the, buying, actually for paying, but maybe make it quicker for them for the payment, that kind of thing? Nurture. So which ones are coming back? Are they giving you reviews? If you're not getting enough feedbacks, maybe some surveys and everything, we'll be covering these different areas. Okay. So reach questions. How are people finding me online? What are my target customers searching for? What are they looking for? Are they finding it here particularly? Or do they need to be directed to other pages or different ways here? Engage questions. What are people engaging with once they find me online? Which of my online communications are people really engaging with the most? And then, of course, we've got activate questions. Which channels are driving bookings? Who is my customer? Now, one of the things here with Google Analytics is you can set up a goal within Google Analytics, and therefore you can really be tracking those who actually go through and buy. But nowadays, it doesn't only have to be buy. Certainly, if you're a nonprofit, well, it could be downloading a PDF, could be finding out, but it could be different functions within your website, and you can track those, which is really helpful. And then you could have those, it'll give those as a separate column, have the highest number at the top, and you can really sort of be tracking the most successful ones, as it were, for you. Okay, and then there's nurture questions. Are my customers talking about my business online? And do my customers buy from me again? Do they come back for more? Now, on to questions, pausing for questions. Let me see now if there's any questions so far. I just remember last time we were talking about the people from different parts of the world, which is absolutely no questions at present. But we will be going into more and more detail with this talk, and there will probably be more questions coming up as we progress. Okay, so, and we're doing actually all right in time because I'm going to spend quite a long time on Google Analytics with a lot of different areas I need to cover with you. But anyway, that's for later. So which tools to use? Now, which tools can we use to get answers, to actually answer our, remember the Rian questions? Just to remind you, there we go, Rian questions, just to answer those particular questions. So which tools to use? So this is where do I get that information from? So let's take a look at the various tools, such as there's Google Analytics, there's Google AdWords, there's Google Search Console, which is quite an important one, which is really useful and gives you a lot of feedback. Social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, they all have an analytics page giving you feedback that you can really use to help you a lot. Okay. And so then we've got the tools that we can use. So there's particularly social, organic search, your website, paid search. So of course, there are many tools. If you have a business account on a social media platform, they tend to have their own tools, as I was saying. They will always have some format. And don't forget, you could use a tool such as Hootsuite. Now, Hootsuite kind of pulls together your social analytics across platforms. And you can check your performance in paid search platforms like Google Ads. And then, of course, there's organic search like Google Search Console. So Google Search Console and Google Business Profile. So that's the organic search. One of the very useful things about Google Search Console, you might be wondering what it is. Thank you very much, Annie. Annie will give you the link there for Google Search Console. What is very useful about the Google Search Console is that once you've registered, this is my website, then you get a lot of feedback about your website. And also, they will mention as well the keywords that, not that people have found your website through, but using all the information that they have about your website, they are recommending different keywords that often websites like yours actually use. Thank you very much, Annie. Okay, so all of these things can be really helpful. And then, of course, there's your website as well. You can track different things within it. And then, of course, then there's paid search as well. All right, so let's take a look at some of these different options. All right, so social media page insights. All right, often it's called insights or it could be called analytics. So there's different sites that you have here. So for example, like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and then there's masses now. At the moment, I keep on seeing new ones, which I haven't seen before. It's quite exciting, the number of different social media platforms that exist. So it's a really, really handy tool if you have a Facebook page set up for your business, okay? So now some businesses don't actually set up separate websites. So social media might be your main way to engage, with customers. Now, just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to give this to you so you can see it. I've got to have just 2 seconds. I'll just give this to you like that. You can maybe see a little bit closer, a little bit of the feedback there. Okay. The great thing about this is, of course, it's a free tool, with the different business pages. You can measure all on-page activity and you can get information about page fans as well. So that's social media page insights, particularly. Then there's Google Search Console, which I've told you a little bit about already. You can see here as well, you can see the graphs and everything, the number of people who've actually, the new users, the ones who've returned and everything, particular things like what they were searching for, that kind of thing. So a lot of information there to help you. So Google Search Console, it's a free product that, website owners can, use to understand how their website is ranking. There's many different sites which this covers, Google Search Console. One of the things is, it'll tell you about your website. If you're not optimizing the images for the web, therefore they're quite heavy as well, a lot of memory, it's going to take a long time to load. If you don't have alternate text, so people who are blind or have problems with their sight, they have that to inform them what that image is. Also, actually, all search engines use that as well. So it's quite important, for example, you have alternate text for images. So these are just 2 examples. Of course, there's many different things that Google Search Console will give you feedback about. And then you can also tell you the ranking of your pages, which is very useful. And then the other thing is, of course, the keywords particularly. So it integrates with Google Analytics, so you can actually see quite a lot. They work together, of course. Okay, then there's Google Business Profile. Now, of course, again, this is totally free. A lot of people, when they sign up, this puts you on Google Maps, okay? A lot of people get quite worried about when they are first asked, what is your address? They don't want to put that because it's there where they live, and that's absolutely fine. I understand, but don't forget that first question when you first, start off with them. They've got the website and they say, "What is your address?" That is for Google right from at the beginning. So don't worry that Google won't really mind if it's your residence or your. But then later you'll have the chance to be able to state where your office is, and then of course you can choose a region. It's preferable though if you can actually set up a place on the map, because generally speaking with all maps it kind of works better if they've got a place. So if you've got a virtual office in an office block or something, and they agree to that or something like that, that often works better than a region. But you can set a region, but make sure, but the first question, remember, that's for Google. After that, we'll look out for it very carefully, make sure, of course, for the public, so that they, that's for, then that will be later for the public. But the first one is for Google to send you a postcard with the verification, so you can enter that and go through all that. The great thing is, of course, this is putting you onto Google Maps. So this we do cover this in more detail in Get Your Business Visible on Google session. So don't forget that. And Google Business Profile has its own insights as well that shows you how well your business listings performs. Do people find you on a map, then click for directions or give you a call? You can see a little bit of it there in the corner there. Some of the users, old users, that's the kind of feedback you would get. Okay, so that's Google Business Profile. Again, it's totally free, so I would recommend that you register with it, because of course this will put you on the map. Okay, thank you very much, Annie. There's Google Business Profile. So Google Analytics. Okay, of course you sign up for free. It is the most popular website analytics tool. Some people find it quite overwhelming. We're going to try and help you and assist you a little bit today. Okay, it will monitor every click on your site, and we'll take a closer look at Google Analytics after I've answered hopefully some of the different questions here. Thanks, Annie. There's Google Analytics. So pausing for questions. Any questions so far? Excellent. Thank you very much, Annie. So welcome, Gaston from Cameroon. Welcome. This is great. And Milika from Montenegro. Welcome. It's great to have you here. It's wonderful. It's just so wonderful, people coming from all different parts of the world, to come and join us. It's really exciting. So it's great. Anyway, no questions at the moment. So let me move on to the next section. Okay, so use the data from Google Analytics. Now we're going to be centering in this third and I think last section. We are going to be centering largely on, particularly on Google Analytics. Now there's some major changes happening, which you might know about, but I'll be discussing those as well. Okay, so what do I do with that information? Now, to give you an example, of course, I've been mentor for many different companies, and often I'm asking a company, so are you on Google Analytics? They go, yeah, okay, excellent. So when did you last see it? Oh, last week, excellent. So what did you see about the campaign that you're running? Did it show up particularly how well it's working or not? And then often they go, ooh, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's kind of like using that information, and that's a kind of the full cycle of understanding it and using that for something like a SMART goal: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Something that they can really see if some things are working. All right, so what do I do with that information? Let's have a look at the different things. So Google Analytics dashboard. Okay, so we've got the dashboard. When you are on Google Analytics, even if you're not there yet, I'll just tell you now anyway, just to kind of prepare you a little bit. There's looks like a little house, very little icon of a house. You click on the house and that will be your dashboard. Now your dashboard is pre-set up with Google Analytics, so it's got all that. Now, one of the big things is it'll give you, it'll be preset, but you can change that if you wish to. I mean, obviously, Google will look for what would probably be the most useful. But as you develop and you get used to it, there are probably certain things you want to look for and everything. You can put those onto the dashboard. So it can, as I was saying before, it can be overwhelming. So it's quite important to, and we will be actually locating the information, answering particular questions. Now, this talk, okay, I'll get onto that later. Let me just finish this now. So analytics, of course, has its own language. So if you don't understand any of the terms, then hover on the question mark beside them for an explanation. Now, for instance, you may see the number of visits is different than visitors because one person, visitor, can come back for multiple visits. And then also, you can discover who your users are by geographic location, demographics, and then discover how you acquire them, visits, and when they visit. So there's quite a lot of information you can get there to help you make decisions for your company. Okay. I hope that helps you masses. Okay. Let me move on to the next one here. So how to set up a Google Analytics account. Now, all right, this is where the big thing comes up. Okay, so you go on to analytics.google.com that Annie very kindly provided you with the link for there. Now, if you already have Google Analytics, one of the things is if you go on to analytics.google.com, you go on, you sign in, and you see a countdown in front of you. That means you're in Google Analytics version 3. And you'll also see when you're an admin, there are 3 columns. That means you're in Google Analytics version 3. Next week, it's all changing. Next week is going to be Google Analytics version 4. Version 4. This talk is going to be covering largely Google Analytics 3. I will always refer to Google Analytics 3 and Google Analytics 4, just to sort of prepare you for the different things. I won't be going over the location where you can find some of the things for Google Analytics 4, I'm afraid, in this talk, because there's not enough time to cover everything. And it would just be quite confusing because I can't sort of refer to when I haven't got the images there to help me, when I'm presenting it to you. But don't forget, there is another one which is getting started with Google Analytics, which is 45 minutes long. And if you book for that, I'm not saying don't leave now, please stay, because of course, obviously we cover a lot of the things which cover many different sides, but this is particularly for Google Analytics 3. And if you've been used to it and that's what you're used to, then obviously it can still help you. So, all right, there's another thing as well. There's another thing which Annie will very kindly provide you the link for. Is called Google Analytics Academy. That's Google Analytics Academy. Now, when you go there, all right, you will see in front of you a lot of different courses. They're all free. But don't forget, I mean, some might be overlapping a little bit, but generally speaking, that's going to be Google Analytics version 3. There'll be a little connection at the top to go onto Skillshop, which Google is using quite a lot of now. It's a free course, so when you get to Skillshop, and Skillshop, I think Skillshop, you click onto that. But anyway, you'll see the link. You click onto that. You'll go through, and then, of course, you can do Google Analytics version 4, introduction to that. And it's all totally free. I mean, the whole point is, thank you so much, Shani. There we go, Google Analytics Academy. So it's all there to help you. But remember that next week, everything's changing. I mean, obviously, if you want to look at some of the old ones before you go on to the new one next week, then that's fine. That's fine. Thank you so much. There we go. There we go. That's the Google Analytics version 4. And it is indeed Skillshop. I got it right. You can sometimes doubt oneself whether one remembers correctly. Okay, so certainly if you signed on if you signed on to Google Analytics since 2020, it would have automatically put you onto Google Analytics version 4. Okay, remember when you go into admin, just to check, it says it's got 2 columns when you go into Google Admin. And nowadays, of course, there's a countdown because there's less and less time to spend there. Anyway, let's cover these different sides because, of course, Google Analytics, whether it's version 3 or version 4, there's certain things which overlap. And the ones which are slightly different, I will tell you, don't worry, in this session, okay? I'll at least cover that. So you go to google.com.analytics, which analytics.google.com, you go there, you name, of course, your account and everything, choose industry category to help you when you benchmark against others who have tagged the same industry, and of course, again, you've got to take I'll go through that just now, but okay, so you go through the whole process of verifying all the rest. You go here, and with this is the old version, so this is Google Analytics version 3. You would have gone into the column which has got their property, and you go into tracking info, tracking code, and the Universal Analytics UA code you put in the header of each of the pages. That is different. Now, with Google Analytics version 4, you go into the property as well. It'll be the second column, property column. It's data streams. You go into data streams. Sorry, I say data. I know maybe people say data. I like to be different. So you go into data streams. You see your website. Click on your website. And then it'll give you, top right, it'll say measurement ID. Now, particularly, of course, we've changed this because of, we're not really tracking people down. Of course, it's got a bad name, tracking. It's largely a measurement, and everything's kept very anonymous and everything, even though, okay, we've got the demographics and as much information as we can get, but it's not giving the person who's actually, is kept sufficiently anonymous. So now it's called measurement ID, and the measurement ID you put in the header of each of the different pages, every single page of your website, okay? Now, there's another thing you'll see further down on this page here as well, GTag. Now, GTag as well is actually very much more important nowadays than it used to be. So GTag you must get set up as well, because now we use a lot tracking mobiles and all the rest. It's Google Analytics version 4 is going much more towards using AI to assist you and help you with all the different analytics and all the rest. So it's quite exciting times. But yeah, just to inform you, to help you. So remember that's the admin, and with the old version, it used to be tracking info, tracking code. Now, of course, it is data streams, and then you go to measurement ID, and that's what you put in the header. Because don't forget, a website, in case you're new to the coding, don't worry about it. Any website has got the header, which is between square brackets. You think of square, put inside, go like that. So you've got the header, which starts off with head there, and then /head to close it. And then there's a body, which of course is ready. So the header is ready for communicating with the browser. And then the body is, of course, the page. And then the footer is any extra information, just to give you an idea. Now, depending on what different website builder you're using, if you're using something like Wix, Weebly, WordPress, or whatever, or Squarespace, there'll often be a plugin that you can actually just use for putting in that measurement ID into the header of each of the different pages. Won't be too hard, normally you won't have to know any coding or anything like that. Okay, so, and of course, once it's in the header of each of the page, I think it takes up to 24 hours, probably around that, for everything to get set up. And then, of course, you will see the graph start to go and everything, which is great. It's exciting to see the people who are actually checking out your website, visiting. The other side is we used to call about, with Google Analytics version 3, the activity you're actually visiting with a user's activity, it used to be called session. Now it's called event. Okay, so now some of the terminology has changed. Okay. All right, so that's Google Analytics. This here, so how to install the tracking code. This is what I was just really saying with WordPress, Wix, or Go, whatever. This is the way you would do it. But don't forget, with Google Analytics, you won't be putting in UA, Universal Analytics. You'll be putting in measurement ID. That's what you put in there. And then, of course, so just to help you. All right. So, and obviously, if you've got one of the things is, don't forget, you've got a host. If you've got a website, you've always got a host. Turn to your host to help you and assist you, any specifics with that. Obviously, if you are in the UK, I'm afraid at the moment it's only in the UK, do contact us about that. Obviously, we can help and assist you and point you at least in the right direction. I mean, I'm a coding specialist, so of course, obviously, I can help a little bit more. Okay. All right. Next. Now, you will see here, we've got here the report. Now, this is the report of the different areas. Now, there's four main areas of reporting. Now, these have changed. This is Google Analytics version 3. It used to be, I'm going to tell you how it is and still is, and then there'll be some changes, Google Analytics version 4. So audience, so who are they? Acquisition, how did they find me? Behavior has been changed because normally you associate behavior, children in a class. worst monkeys in a cage. So now we actually do it differently. So now we call it engagement because it's more appropriate as well, because it's how the person engages with the page. So remember, behavior has changed to engagement. What are they actually doing when they go to the site? What pages are they engaging with? How long are they spending there? Conversions, of course, you're not converting to another religion or anything like that, but of course, in this context, we still do use sometimes conversions in as a sort of term for selling and or people downloading the PDF or whatever you want them to do, is conversions. But now we actually call it monetization. If you are registered there with the UK, for example, it will give you monetization with an S. Of course, it's America or some other countries, often it'll give it the Z. Okay. But is more appropriate again, sort of monetization of how much you're getting the money coming around. I know for nonprofit it doesn't quite make sense, but at the same time, it's to see how things are running. What are they worth to me? Whether it's downloading a PDF or selling something or bringing people's awareness with a particular book or PDF, what it might be. So that's a couple of the different things. I hope that has been helpful a little bit just to get you started with the different sides. All right. Let me see now. I'm just seeing, is it Silly Vlogs? How much time what's that? Sorry, Silly Vlogs. How much time how much time does it before it starts? It'll take up to about 24 hours roughly. Till once it's got it in the header. I mean, it's not always the case. I'm afraid it will vary. Of course, Google very busy. Of course, the programming, the technology will be very busy with the different sides. I can't promise that, but it will be roughly the time. I hope that helps. Silly Vlogs. Okay, now let us move on to this side here. Now, data in Google Analytics. Now, with Google Analytics 3 or Google Analytics 4, you've got here. You've got on the left-hand side, we've got the dimension. Now, this is the what. And on the right-hand side, it's the metrics. It's the numbers. So the dimension could be, for example, in this case, Vamshi. When the class has started, which class? Sorry, I'm totally out of these. The ones which I provided, which are analytics.google.com, the Google Analytics Academy and the Google Analytics for version 4 on Skillshop, those are your own time. Yes, we're halfway through this talk, but if you're talking about those particular ones, those you do in your own time, they're pre-recorded, okay? But the 45 minutes, yes, you can see up to 24 hours. When I've said the last word and I stop broadcasting it, it's up to 24 hours. Same URL, you can watch this at any time, go back to the different things. Hope that's help. Okay, sorry, Ania, that's really for you to look after. I need to stop getting distracted here. No, you can't, Silly Vlogs. Sorry, Vamshi. I'm sorry, Vamshi, you can't because this is all copyright, so there's no recorded video now. Okay, but of course we do give these talks, and you can book if you miss. If you miss the 24 hours, let's say, you can book for another session. Of course, we'll be here, and the 45 minutes, particularly for Google Analytics version 4, which is next week, which particularly will be happening. Okay, I hope that helps, Vamshi. All right, so the dimension of the what on the left. So we've got, for example, organic search, referral, direct, paid search, social, affiliates, display, for example. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the metrics. We've got the numbers, okay? So there, particularly with the different sides, you've got all the different sides. No problem, Vamshi. So you've got all the different metrics over here. And you've got the users, new users, and sessions and everything. And also, of course, events now often will be called now with Google Analytics version 4. But again, you've got the numbers there. So you're getting the feedback of the different areas, okay? So the first column, of course, we see in green, okay, is called that. The name officially is dimension. We've got there as well. It's an attribute of the customer's website to visit. So, for example, if we find ourselves asking a which or a what question, it's a dimension. So some examples, device type, city, age, gender. A metric is the actual number, how many question. Okay. All right, so using Rhiannon to ask the right question. So we're going to go through this now. Just as a word of, just to make it clear, I'm covering now, from now on, this is going to be Google Analytics version 3. I don't want to sort of complicate matters of going into Google Analytics 4 for this part, because this is going to get really complicated and it's going to confuse everyone. And this part is just going to be Google Analytics version 3. Now, if you are registered and you're following this with a Google Analytics, your own Google Analytics page, that's fine. You can see it, but make sure you're in the version 3 to help you. If you don't have Google Analytics version 3, set up, or if you don't have access to it or anything, don't forget there is a Google demo account that you can actually check out some of the different things just to help you. But anyway, either that or just follow what I'm covering here to give you a clear idea, as clear as possible. And then, of course, after this, when we finish this, don't forget, book for a 45-minute session, as well as the Google Analytics Academy, for booking, for checking out the videos there to help you with all those different sides. So let's go through each of the different sides. So first of all, how are people finding me online? Reach. Okay. Yes, Annie, sorry, Annie, can you give them the GA3 demo account there? Because really in this one, it's going to confuse them. They've got the GA4 one, because I'm going to be covering GA3 in this one, just to, make it easier for them, for them to follow. So Reach. So with Google Analytics version 3, the way you would actually find it is, how are people finding me? Oh, there's only GA4. I'm so sorry, people. My apologies. There's no longer a Google Analytics version 3 demo account. My apologies. But anyway, don't worry. For the Google Analytics version 4, obviously, we're covering more detail, but still stay with us, because we're covering these different areas. You'll be able to find them in a slightly different place, but book for the 45 minutes. That one will just concentrate on GA4. Okay. So how are people finding me online with the Reach? Google Analytics, you go to acquisition, you see there in the left-hand column there, and then all traffic, and then channels report. So let me just move myself out of the way. You can still hear my voice, of course. Can't get away from that, but you've got Google Analytics, acquisition, all traffic, channels report. You can see there, the left-hand column there, acquisition, and then you've got channels, and then you've got all the different, the dimensions and the metrics coming through. Now, one of the advantages as well, oh, excellent, full course by Google. That's right, absolutely, there is. Let me see now. Sorry, I'm sorry, Annie, I'll let you answer that one. I'm getting distracted. So Google Analytics, so you've got acquisition, all traffic, channel support. So you've got all that information to really help you, which is really useful. Okay, and organic search sends us the highest numbers of visitors, with referrals coming in second. So if you click on the link in blue, you'll see over there, it'll take you to the next level of data. So this is the way that this Google Analytics 3 particularly works. All right. So how are people finding me online? So you've immediately got the answer. I mean, this is quite good if you think about it. It's quite rare when you've got organic search at the top. Then they've got referrals. So people got your email. They're just entering it straight in. Direct as well. Sorry, referral, I beg your pardon. What I meant is referral is they're clicking on a link through in another place to your website. Direct, they've got your email and everything. Social media, paid search, affiliates, and then display. So there's many different display campaigns particularly. So what can we do with this information? So identify which search terms are driving organic traffic. Look to improve links from our social media platforms, and develop relationships with referral websites, because we've got over here, you see referral here particularly. So find out which of those are, and actually take advantage of that, to build up the relationships with those particular websites. So all of these things, this is just examples of some of the things of what you could do with this information, getting that information and using it. Next one we'll have a look at, using Rhiannon to ask the right questions. So here we've got engage. So what are people engaging with when they find me online? In other words, what pages are they really going to once they actually go online. So we've got over here, what are people engaging with me when they find me online? We go into, of course, Google Analytics. Let me just take myself off the screen. Yes, there is, sorry. I'm just going to take myself off the screen. There we go. For Google Analytics, behavior, site content, all pages, that which is really useful to get you the information, particularly about it. And you can see the different times that they spent on the different pages and everything. So all of that can be really helpful. And of course, you can see, the home page is often the most visited. Then you've got the different places where they're going to. Now, this is the behavior, site content, all pages report. And you can see all the different areas that have been covered there. Okay, now, what are people engaging with when they find me online? So, of course, with the behavior, site content, all pages, by learning which of our pages our visitors spend their time, this is a big thing, spend their time. Often they'll go to their home page, that's fair enough. But, how long do they spend on these particular pages, and which they leave quickly? We can understand what they like in order to create more interesting content, particularly for them. Now, if you have a video on a page and people hang around on that page for longer than it takes to play, then maybe they're actually finding it interesting. Excuse me, if they all leave partway through, what is putting them off? Now, one of the advantages as well here, if you've got a video, you can put it on, let's say it's YouTube, you can embed that YouTube video on that page, and people can watch it, or they can click to watch it in YouTube and it'll open up as a new tab in YouTube. And then, of course, they can see what other videos. So that sometimes you're going to have both of these different things working side by side to help. And if you get lots of traffic to a page, but a high bounce rate, then, of course, we need to check if we're showing them what they want to see when we actually get those people. Now, a lot of people get worried if they've got around 50%, just over 50% of bounce rate. I mean, obviously, you want to reduce bounce rate, but 50 is not too worrying. If it's 70, 80, then it is very high, just to give you kind of reference point. And then we can also see if any of our processes need reviewing, Lots of abandoned baskets, of course, might tell us that this is a problem with the checkout. Maybe they need other forms of, simpler paying and everything, so they can choose that particular method of payment. Things like often website builders like Shopify, for example, are particularly built around, particularly for selling items. So sometimes, the easiest methods and everything, there's WooCommerce as well, which works with things like WordPress and everything. But, it's just to make sure that it's nice and smooth for the user. Always put yourself in the user's shoes. That's very, very important. Okay, so that's with the engage, particularly the pages. And you can learn so much about this. And then, of course, obviously, you've got to deduce why to a certain extent. You ask the what, and then, of course, you calculate to a certain extent why. So using Ryan to ask the right questions. Okay, again, we've got reach, engage, activate this time, and then nurture. So activate is all about getting people to take the action. We want them to actually take. It could be as easy to understand as a sale, for example, with the most kind of obvious example. If we don't sell online, though, it could be ringing us up in order to book. The only problem sometimes is you lose that connection where we can track. They just take down the number and then call. You know what I mean? So try and make it so that you can really, even looking at a particular phone number, if it's a function, you can even track that, which is quite useful. So it could be ringing us up, in order to book, downloading a white paper, or filing in the contact us form, particularly. All right, sorry, filling in. Sorry, that's what I meant. Okay, so which channel is driving the most bookings? So which channel is driving the most bookings? So we've got here acquisition, all traffic channels. So you can see particularly here on the right-hand side, those particular ones with the bookings. Now, one of the things with this, let me just take myself off so you can see it a little bit more clearly. These are particularly goals that you will have set up within Google Analytics. And it is so useful to set up the goals within Google Analytics because then you can track them. Google will actually create other columns for them where they are listed. Then you can really track those, have the largest number who are actually buying or whatever. You can follow their particular journey through the website. And you can actually learn a lot from that and what appeals to them, what led those particular people to actually buy from you. So maybe those are really good. Maybe some of the ones which are the bottom, no one, you know what I mean, no one bought after that. You know, it's just, I mean, obviously it's a little bit like, you know, in a detective's job to a certain extent. You've got to work out, okay, this is the information given, so but why? Why has this suddenly peaked then? What, you know, all these different things to help you. One of the things as well with this, you will see all the different, the feedback and everything. You can set over what time period it's actually set, which is quite important. So it might be preset as a month. Okay, you could set it for over 6 months, over 12 months, you know, all these different things to give you further information. All right. Okay. Again, we want to know, of course, with this information pertaining to where people found us. So check out the acquisition area. We looked at this report earlier too, but this time we are focusing in on the conversion metrics in the far right corner, okay, which I just showed you now. And here we are talking about, you know, registrations and translating them into table bookings particularly. Okay, which channel is driving the most bookings? So here with Activate, identify which referring sites drive conversions particularly. And so if you click into referral, so when going back onto this, when you click onto referral, yeah, then you will actually see which sites are referring the most traffic. Are there any that are driving lots of sessions and users but few conversions? Are there any that have a high conversion rate? And for those that are actually driving volume and converting traffic, is there anything we can do to improve the relationship with that site? Is there anything we can collaborate on? Can we turn this into a partnership? And then for low traffic quality, lots of one-page view sessions with a high bounce rate, perhaps from an unusual looking website when you check it out, should we be filtering this out of our reports? If it is a bot or spider, it will be filtered out by the view setting that you can check to filter bots and spiders. Remember, when you're tracking all of this, a lot of the different things, you're going to be wanting to see people, not spiders and bots. Now, just in a quick explanation of spiders and bots, it sounds like I'm talking now into the insect world. You know, this is not a Disney thing of of ants or anything like that. No, but spiders and bots are particularly the term we give to the things that go across to check out different websites. Now, for example, for Google Search Console, which remember we mentioned before, Google Search and Console, if you use the analogy again of insects and you imagine a web, which of course it is, the internet web, you've got the spider in the middle, and as soon as an insect lands on the web through the vibration, it detects the insect, rushes across, poisons it, wraps around the, but no. Of course, Google does not do that as the main spider, let's say, in the web. It does not do that. It detects that another website has appeared. It sends nice spiders and bots to check out the website, and really is to get as much information as possible to build up an index card. So when it's when people are searching for different things, you know, it's got your website there as well as an index card on that particular website, information basically. Now, of course, there's also spiders and bots which are not nice. We're trying to hack into your website and all the rest. But often when you're looking at the tracking like this, you're really wanting to see people, okay? So one of the things you can do is you can actually go in and filter out by the view settings that you can actually check to filter bots and spiders. So that's one of the things you can filter out. And then you're actually only seeing, you'll see filter thing, it looks little lines going down to the point there. That's the filter. In fact, can I show it to you? No, it's a little bit too small on the screen, but you can filter it out. And then you can be really following people, which is fabulous. There is a link, Annie, there's a link on this talk. If you can give them that link, that would be fabulous. Just check that it's still working, actually. All right. So that particular one with the activate. All right. And then nurture. Are my customers happy to leave a review? You know, nurture is about what happens after we've activated the relationship. Do they leave a review somewhere? Book again, for example. Now, this is a topic we do cover, for example, negative reviews. If you do get a negative review, how best to respond. There's one called Writing for Social Media. I do recommend it. So book for that session to see it, to help you. One of the biggest things is trying to get a review, and it's very hard. I mean, I know often I'll be going, oh, yeah, I'll fill it in when I get, and then, of course, I've forgotten when I got back home or I'm busy doing X, Y, Z. And it's kind of like, and people don't like filling in the whole time. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of, it's getting them to fill in. And of course, obviously, you can add special offers if they do just fill in a form. Or if you have them in the store, get them to fill in there and then it's really useful. But yeah, it's trying to get people to leave some kind of review. So are my customers happy to leave a review? Now with this one, you know, as well as monitoring reviews on sites like Google Business Profile and Facebook to answer this question, you can actually collect and track post-purchase reviews on your own website. Now this website has set up the key points of their sales funnel as a series of goals so they can track them in Google Analytics. Remember I said about goals? Because you're looking at a goal, check out the conversion menu. This area is highly customizable, so will be empty until you start creating goals to track. Very important. Now, goals don't have to be e-commerce, in other words, selling. They can be anything that is a key action for you. Download a document, sign up for something, or visit a certain number of pages. I mean, I know I've mentioned that already, but just to make sure you know that. So you've got their conversions, e-commerce, you know, checkout behavior, particularly there. And of course, you've got to set up the particular goals. Are my customers happy to leave a review? If they want to learn more about dealing with, of course, reviews, get genuine feedback from people we know what bought our products. Who have actually bought our products, responded to all reviews, good and bad, and try different, which I mentioned, writing for social media, and try different ways to encourage purchasers to leave a review. What works best, you know, do more of that particularly. Okay, so questions, any questions? Let me see now, any questions there, Annie? For this last part, you've been very busy there, I can see. None at the moment. Okay, no problem. Okay, so people, I hope that has been very helpful with different sides. Of course, now we're moving on to what are your next steps. Of course, I've covered many different sides. One of the things that if you are still with Google Analytics version 3, obviously check them out. Have a look at Google Analytics Academy by all means to your heart's content till by the end of this week, it'll all change to Google Analytics version 4. So you do need to go through the process of changing. I did do it with Menti just the other day, and we did it in like 2 minutes, and she was amazed at the time. It was like, wow. But it's kind of like, it's not that hard. You can go through the steps and everything, and then it's done, and then it's really useful. So I would recommend going through that process as well. I'm afraid we don't cover it in this talk, but certainly if you're booking for a mentoring, obviously we'll help you as best we can. But yeah, it's exciting times as well with the development of Google Analytics and the different things they can use, particularly centered more around mobiles as well, which a lot of people will be accessing your website with, using to a certain extent the development of AI and the different sides. I mean, not just AI, but more specifically where it's going to be used and the development. And of course, some of our courses will be developing in this way, because everything's happening fast. So anyway, so your next steps, certainly, I would recommend just having taken down some of the different things. Don't forget that up to up to 24 hours after I finished, which we just now, you will be able to watch this talk. So don't miss out on that opportunity. If there's something you want to refer back to, something I mentioned, some link which Annie gave, because don't forget the chat will be there as well whilst when you're going through it. I'm afraid there's no you can't get the movie of it or anything. Of course, this is all copyright, but it obviously is for you to take the information and benefit from it for your own company, your own business, or the business or company you work for. And of course, we've covered masses of things within Google Analytics particularly, but I hope that has helped you a bit with the different sides. Okay, don't forget, there is free one-to-one mentoring available from Google. So, particularly if you work for a small business or charity in the United Kingdom, sign up for Google mentoring at g.co/UK mentoring. Thank you very much, Annie. Should give you the link there to help you. Hannah, yes, hello, sorry, yes, I just saw a question I just saw in the chat that and it's passed across. Will Google Analytics 3 automatically change to Google Analytics 4, or do I need to set it up? Certainly a lot of the things will be happening which will be automatic, because nothing will eventually remain with Google Analytics 3. But I'd recommend, though, Hannah, you can set it up for Google Analytics 3 and Google Analytics 4. So I'd recommend still you set it up for both, because one of the things is some of the track record won't be able to keep with Google Analytics 3. So keep them both. That's what I recommend, Hannah. I hope that helps you a little bit. Okay, so set it up for both. It won't be hard. As I said, I did it in two minutes with a mentee, so it shouldn't be hard at all. And book for a session, I know, because you're in the UK, so we can help you and assist you. Okay, all right. So I hope that's helpful, all the different sides and different areas. I just want to say, everyone, thank you very much for your questions, interaction, for your comments and assistance. And, it's great to speak to all of you around the world. It's very exciting. I'm so sorry we can't offer the mentoring yet to the whole world, but, let's hope in the future. And we're going to, wrap up here as we're running out of time. 3 minutes. I hope that has been a useful, dive, particularly into answering questions with data or, particularly Google Analytics. As I mentioned at the beginning of the session, if you are interested in more training from Google Digital Garage, there are a few ways you can continue learning. We are running many more Google Digital Garage webinars in different subjects. If you'd like to check out the schedule of webinars, please see information on this in the description below. There'll be different topics available to watch, and we'll be updating the schedule regularly. Don't forget, though, when you check out on that link, do keep checking, because if it's not in the next 2 weeks, it won't appear. So you need to keep checking to see when these different things turn up. Okay. If you want to go do the Google Analytics, getting started with Google Analytics for Google Analytics version 4, it's the talk, which is 45 minutes or 15 minutes. I recommend maybe the 45 minutes so you can cover more. Also, if you would like to carry on learning online in your own time, check out the Google Digital Garage website for more online training, which are available to you 24/7. Okay. There's one which is called Fundamentals of Digital Marketing. It's a great starting point. And obviously, if you've done already, that's fabulous. There's many other courses you can use to help you there. And also, if you've got any feedback or questions on today's session, provide them now in the chat. That's what we're here for. It's fabulous. And if you want to go even further, there is team@thedigitalgarage.co.uk, which is also at the bottom of the description below. And Annie will be providing you there with the links anyway. Okay, I want to thank everyone for joining today. I want to thank you for all your contribution and everything. And particularly, thank you so much, Annie. You've been absolutely fabulous. We look forward to welcoming you again to another Google Digital Garage training session soon. Thank you.